But I remember like Lorne Michaels came he used to only go to Second City, but then I was working at the Annoyance Theater as well because we did the show, The Real Life Brady Bunch.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
Andy Rick
Right,
and David Lynch
right.
and,
So good.
Yeah, I mean, Melanie Hudson. Anyway, but he came. So Lorne Michaels came to check out another show that we did that was all female, and so like 4 of us out of the 6 women were up for SNL. So I was up for SNL, had lunch with Lauren, like did the whole like
Did you do an audition? Did you prepare? Like, what do they prepare? 3 things or something, right?
Actually, I didn't get to the last stage, but I was like, but my friend, it was just funny because of the 4 of us that were up for it, 2 got it. So it's just like, so people like they were they were like my sisters. It was Betty Cahill and Melanie Hutzel.
Okay.
And Melanie Hutzel was the one I had lunch with.
Yeah.
So you're like, it's that weird thing where you're like, I'm so happy for my friend. I don't know what to do with this disappointment. I'm so happy for my friend. I want to kill myself. Oh, I don't want to kill myself. I mean, it's just like, oh, that was it. It's just a weird thing because
it's the actor dilemma, right?
It's weird. And the thing about SNL is like you don't go after SNL, they come after you.
Yeah,
like
and this is something you said earlier that you accepted it. Acceptance is the answer to solve all my problems.
This is true, but also obviously lots of therapy and time.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing one of the producers from SNL who's he's now on Seth Meyers, Mike Shoemaker, who was at the lunch with us. I saw him. It's probably like a year before I got the office. I was at that restaurant, Kate Manalini, and I was so like in the weeds, as we used to say. And he and Tina Fey were there, and he's like, I hope you're hanging in there. He's like, it's Mike Shoemaker. I was so busy, I didn't even recognize him. He's like, Mike Shoemaker, Lawrence Guy. And he's like, don't give up, don't give up. I'm like, I'm not. I'm like, I got my flyer to my comedy act in my pocket.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it was always damned if you pass out your flyer, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
So you might as well,
Right.
But so I loved his encouragement, and it's funny because I did Seth Meyers like a year and a half ago, and I was like, oh my God, Mike, like he's just been one of those touchstone people where there's a few people that just go, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up.
Well, it's interesting too. On your way up, be nice.
Yeah.
Because on your way down, it can be really fucking bumpy.
Don't forget about
true.
that ladder.
And I learned that from my parents,
Yes.
And also enjoying it. I've said to people, like, what do you do with this? Do you enjoy it? I fucking hate my job. And I'm like, maybe we find something that you enjoy doing,
Right.
And we're very lucky to do what we do, but there's a short amount of time that we're here. So if you can enjoy what you're doing. So yes, I'm working at a yogurt store, but I'm doing this. And this is what I enjoy doing. You know what I mean? So there's a happy medium.
What's funny,
that.
when 9/11 hit, I was waiting tables and doing the lampshades, and I was like, what happened? What would happen if like this was all there was? Like, could I live with this? And I was like, yeah, maybe I could, because I'm doing something that I write and perform with someone else, like we do every like. I think I could. And then I feel like that sort of informed me for like being okay being the 40-year-old waitress. I would say Steve Carell was the 40-year-old virgin. I was the 40-year-old waitress. But, just like being an acceptance, like, okay. And again, like it's not to say that there are disappointments. And that's why I've done a ton of therapy. And I recommend like anybody who has somebody super negative in their life, like just be careful, because when you're going after your dreams, like you just don't want to put them in the mix all the time. You just got to keep what you're doing sacred as much as you can.
And also go to your gut and to your heart.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
Those people who are negative people, I don't have in my life anymore.
Well, they just take energy. They don't give anything. And in an industry that already takes a lot, you just don't need it. You can't afford anyone else.
Absolutely. And some people don't want you to change because they don't want you to go away.
Yes.
They're going to lose you.
Yeah. And I just got the chills when we were saying that, because there's no reason to be around someone who's going to say something negative to you. And this is what I was going to say. I'm a really nice, wonderful person. So I'm giving you everything. And if I don't get anything back from you, then what? You know what I mean?
Well,
it just is
running
a
on an
void.
empty tank.
Yeah. And there's only so much energetically that you can afford. Like your bandwidth's like, okay, I'm tapped out. I cannot be, whatever. Or it's one of those things where you really have to keep deciding over and over again what's really important to you.
Right.
And we don't need to cut people off and say, shut up. We don't need to give them a lecture. It's like, just don't respond to the text if you're doing something like that's really important to you, that you need your energy.
Right. Well, something that I've gone to now is thank you for your input. I'm good. You know what I mean? I don't need to explain myself to you.
Yes.
You don't owe anyone anything.
Yeah.
No defending. I need to ask this, because just as are you still wanting to participate in doing jobs and things and happenings and stuff?
Yeah.
And what is that like now? Because it's a little bit of a different business.
It is.
From a while ago.
It is. I've done like dozens of indie films, and I've enjoyed them. And I always say, if you're on an indie film, you have to be willing to take out the trash, because you don't know what you're walking into, because it's usually low budget, but there's usually wonderful people. And I've gotten to go to a lot of fun festivals because of them.
And you get a lot of like, hey, I'm doing this movie. Will you come and participate with me?
Right. Yeah.
But I kind of love those more because it takes you back to kind of when you started, and everybody's just in it because they love it.
Yeah.
Like nobody's there because it's a payday or, they have an attitude. Like everyone's there because they truly love being
Absolutely
there.
true. Yeah,
so
I
kind of love being in the weeds with everybody a little bit.
Absolutely.
Like it sucks when like I've been on shoots before where like your per diem money gets stolen because you're all in the same room. Like that part sucks, but like that part not great. But you know what I mean? Like other than the little shit like that, like it's being in it with people that are just excited to be there like you are reminds you why you do what you do.
Absolutely.
As long as you can pay your bills.
No, this is true. And don't compare yourself to other people because that is
it's death.
The thief of joy.
Well, and sometimes it's hard not to. I mean, there's definitely a group of people that I came up with, maybe not the same names that you have, but there's and you're like, oh, you gotta be. He's very famous.
Yes,
making a lot of movies and stuff.
But everybody's story and pattern is different.
That,
you know what I mean?
Well,
go ahead.
No. I think that's the toughest thing is just to be in acceptance and to remember like whatever. Everybody has their problems too. So even if you think someone has, even if they're more visible or they work more, like that doesn't mean they're happy.
Everything can be relative. Yeah, I know a lot of very wealthy people who are very unhappy.
Well, it's true.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I asked them, can I borrow $10,000? That was my favorite. If I ever got a show or a job or someone got a job, I would say, can I borrow $10,000? Oh, that's so funny.
Okay, I have to ask you, how did mom and dad come together? How did the lampshades come together? So out of Second City.
Yeah, Scott and I were taking class, and then we worked at the Annoyance Theater together, and we were at this club called the Green Mill, which is a very famous jazz club in Chicago that's in a crappy neighborhood. I think like my friend's car, like they tried to strip the steering column. We came back.
Oh no!
It's uptown.
And you're like, so let's make a comedy cabaret.
Right. I know, sort of. Yeah, and I remember going and like there was some act, and I think like English was a second language, so I think their act was called Systems Tandem, which maybe in another language makes sense. But anyway, but we were just
have that tattoo.
Right?
Yeah,
we were just like enjoying the whole idea of making fun of, or just like I actually studied voice in college because I studied musical theater for a couple of years, and I switched to acting, but I always want to make fun of singers because and also I feel like you have to have a certain, like you have to be good enough to not be too annoying. Right. You can't do bad lounge. Like the arrangement can be funny, and I'm very musical, so I was always sort of fascinated by.
It's a pocket you have to hit.
Exactly. Yeah. But also like our lounge act, we literally started to do it before shows at the Annoyance, so we would build like 3 songs a week. We would do like Friday and Saturday night, we would do the spot from 7:30 to 8 right before the first show, and people didn't know they were coming in. Like they were coming in to see the 8 o'clock show, and
It wasn't like it was more. Are these people performing, or are they real or not? Is this like a real thing? Which is a beautiful way,
right? And there's no expectation.
Very disarming.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Which is
0 expectation. So we did that for like a few months, and then we put up like a 1-hour show, and then we didn't live in the same city for like I want to say like 6 years. Yeah. So then when we were back, I was doing the character by myself a little bit in New York at these character nights at like Caroline's and stuff, where like Jim Gaffigan would come out like just like a coach, like So
he has a very coach energy.
Yeah, he was great. And then like Amy Poehler would do some of those too. We would be down at these places called like Baby Jupiter and all these places. Like, this is like New York.
And when
I
you're
was
doing
in New York for 3 years. So,
when you're doing it, it's fun if some people in the audience have no idea that you're doing a thing, and some people know. It's like, is that what were you saying? The wedding,
Bonnie Hunt.
No. When you're at a pretend wedding, there's actors around.
Oh, Tony and Tina's
wedding,
hilarious.
where you're in like the realness of it.
Right.
Which
a more modern version of that is Jury Duty.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I have not seen it. I have to see it.
It's interesting.
Great.
It's funny.
It's like a social experiment almost.
I love it.
But more performative.
And also, but a little different because he knew he's on a reality, not a reality show, but he knew he was on a documentary.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? So he was aware he was being filmed. Which is different than like a secret camera kind of thing.
This is more like performative.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
A little bit more like open concept.
So I have a question for you guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Let everyone
I'm
recover
ready.
their hearing. They all have tinnitus now.
Sorry, everybody.
Sound guy, sorry. No, I was just going to say, when you guys are obviously revisiting all the episodes. Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening here?
Kate's face,
I'm so honest.
when she said all the episodes for people who are listening, her face went into pain face.
I was like, that's a lot to look at.
Okay,
Sorry.
go ahead.
So one of the rings of hell is to look at myself over and over again. So that's what I'm saying.
Tell me about it.
I'm projecting. Yeah, but you, I was gonna say. So do you remember like where you were in your life when you watch it, or is that not really a factor?
Some episodes, yes. Some episodes, it is so. You know those like your seven senses, like how like there's some memories like you can smell, you can hear, like you can.
Yes.
They're visceral.
Yes.
Some episodes are visceral for me, and then other episodes, I'm like, it's like a fever dream. I was like, I see myself. I know I was there,
but you don't remember one line.
Nope. I was like, somebody drugged me, and then Weekend at Bernie's me the whole episode. Like I don't. I was like, I'm there,
That's
but
so
was
funny.
I? So yeah, I have some like some of them are total blackouts, and then some of them are so visceral. It's weird.
I'm
it's
watching
weird how memory is.
So my wife is German, Julia, and she watched like an episode. So now she's doing a watch while I'm doing a rewatch. Actually, she's technically watching me watch myself. And sometimes I'm laughing. And I was like, hey.
You're laughing
and I
all the time.
Well, I mean, like there was an episode where I did a slip and fall.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. It's nice. But then sometimes you're like, what was I thinking? Hey, thank you so much for watching this clip of Wizards of Waverly Pod. And for the full episode, go to the Wizards Pod YouTube channel. The link is in the description.
And for exclusive weekly bonus content, join our Patreon now. There's a link in the description for that too. Thanks for watching.
Bye now.